One of the things you will need to consider is, what vehicle do you require? The two vehicles here are mine. This is a 2011 Citroen Berlingo and this is a 2015 Ford Ranger Limited. Getting into the Berlingo couldn't be any easier. Again, the steering wheel adjusts. It goes up and down, but again doesn't come forward or go away from you. Why do some cars have that yet trucks don't? Welcome to part 2 of which vehicle is best for newly qualified plumbers or gas engineers between this Ford Ranger and this Citroen Berlingo. Now, where was we? Oh yeah, we were taking this little beauty for a test drive. So, you know what we're doing next? We're getting on with it. So, we started off looking at the Berlingo. So let's take the Berlingo for its first spin. Come on. Now we're leaving the car park. We can first try out the Citroen's suspension because in the lane we have one of the biggest potholes you'll ever come across. So let's try out this suspension and see what it's like. Hardly felt a thing. So Citroen have the famous 2CV, which had air suspension, and they reckon the Berlingo, which hasn't got leaf springs in the back, it's got dampers, feels like the same ride. So we have got a bit of camera wobble, which we're going to have because it's attached to the windscreen, but you know, not bad. Now this driving position, with the way the angle the steering wheel is on, it makes you feel like you're in a go-kart, but it's not quite like a go-kart. 0 to 60 time for this little beauty, just over 13 seconds. So it's about as fast, there's a speed bump there we're just going over. It's about as fast as an aircraft carrier. So we're just going down this road now and there's loads of speed bumps, so can you tell? But yeah, we're just going over one there. We're just coming up to another one there. So it soaks up the bumps. Now the steering is very, very light and very responsive for a van. The gearbox is quite smooth as well, but it feels like your gears are about 1.5 miles apart. But you can also hear my squeaky clutch. Now this van's had a squeaky clutch since the day I bought it. That's 10 years ago, and it's just kind of turned out now that it's part of life. We have the squeaky clutch. Now it's not the best drive in the world, this van, it never will be, but it's incredibly nippy. It's a smooth drive. It's a lot better when there's a lot of gear in the back. I've only got a few tools in the back at the moment, so it can be a bit bouncy and a bit echoey as well when you're driving. But on a road like we're on now, it's quite smooth and responsive. So let's take it on the motorway and give it a blast down the motorway and let's see the difference. So I'm doing 30 miles an hour now. I don't know whether I need to be shouting or not, but they reckon I shout anyway because of what I do for a living. But we'll get it on the motorway and we'll see exactly what it sounds like on the motorway. Now we're just coming up to the roundabout to get us onto the motorway. So let's see what the baby can do, and let's open the taps and get to this 70 mile an hour and see how we do. So there's 30. Try out this 5-speed manual gearbox. So we're coming up to 60. Let's get her in 5th. We're up to 70 mile an hour. There you go, we're at 70 mile an hour. Cruising along. So hopefully you can still hear what I'm saying. It is a bit noisy in here now. It's even worse when you have a window down, because it rattles on the back of this as well. Now, one of the things I have found wrong with this van, which I found from day one, was when I'm driving in my work boots, the 3 pedals are too close together. So what happens is, when you come to put your foot on the brake, you end up hitting the clutch. So that was a bit scary at first, but all I do now is just drive in my trainers, go to work in my trainers, take my trainers off, put my work boots on. So that was job done. But yeah, the pedals are too close together. But that's cruising along at 70 mile an hour. Not much wind noise. Smooth ride. We're just coming off the motorway now. So that's the Berlingo. So let's get back to the house, get the Ranger, and let's do the same trip in the Ranger and compare them and see which is the best ride. Now let's do the same journey in the Ranger as we've just done in the Berlingo, but let's get the aircon on. It's a bit warm, something we couldn't do in the Berlingo. Anyway, so straight away, as soon as you get into this vehicle, you can feel it's a lot higher than the Berlingo and a lot more wobbly. So it wallows a lot more in this truck than it does in the Berlingo. So let's try going through this same pothole and see any difference. Yep, you can feel it wobbles a lot more than the Berlingo does. And then we'll see if we notice the speed bumps. Now when this truck was brand new, it was over 25 grand. And I paid 17 grand for it 2 years ago, just over 2 years ago. And I checked up yesterday, and you can buy the same spec car, same year, with round about the same miles. It's just done over 80,000 miles, this, so it's actually done more miles than the Berlingo, even though it's half its age. But it was very high mileage when I first bought it. But yeah, you can buy this now for about 13.5, 14 grand. Whereas the Berlingo, I paid 11 grand for it 10 years ago or so, and you can get it for 2.5 grand for the same mileage. So over the first speed bump. So I can tell there's a lot more camera wobble in this truck than there was in the Berlingo. No, the wobble's just too bad now for me to continue with the camera on the windscreen. It's just absolutely horrendous. So pulled over and moved the camera, so hopefully it doesn't wobble as much now it's on the dashboard rather than on the windscreen. So anyway, as I was saying, this 6-speed automatic gearbox, you have to pay extra for it when you bought this brand new. Now I'm coming up to the 40-mile-an-hour zone now, so I'm doing 40 mile an hour and I'm doing 2,000 revs. And this gearbox has always kind of struggled getting up this hill, always from day one since I've had it. It's always like the gears aren't right for going slow up a hill. So this 2.2 150 brake horsepower 4-cylinder turbo diesel has 30 to 370 Newton meters torque. Whatever that means. I have no clue what that means whatsoever. Is it good? Is that a good figure? Anyway, it's 0 to 60 time about 11 seconds. So we're going to see how quick it is. So let's get on this motorway. We're at the roundabout now. We're just going on the motorway now. So I'm doing 20 mile an hour as I'm going onto the motorway. We're just going up to 3,000 revs. We just changed gear now. So we're at 50 mile an hour and it just changed again. We're now 60, now coming up to 70 mile an hour, 3,000 revs, and it's just dropped down to 2,000 revs when it changed into 6th gear. So we're doing 70 mile an hour, 2,000 revs, and it is a little bit more noisy. It's not as noisy as the Berlingo, but the ride is just million miles apart. Now, I've been to France in this twice now. France, when you get over to France, just put the cruise control on, 50 mile an hour. Oof, not an effort to drive whatsoever. But if I'd done that in the Berlingo, I probably would have had a really sore left foot. Your left foot does nothing. It gets to the point where, because your left foot's doing nothing, you have to keep banging it on the floor to see if it's alive in long journeys. So this just cruises along. Now Ford say this is like driving a car. Nothing like driving a car at all. The driving experience is completely different from a car. God knows what cars Ford's driven to say it's like driving a car. But it is a great experience if you've never driven a truck before. They are, like I say, very wallowy. You're all over the road if you're light. But this car has special suspension to even out your loads if you don't put your load right. But it is leaf spring suspension on the back, unlike the Berlingo, which has these kind of damper system. So that's why it's a very bouncy when there's no weight in the back. But when you've got weight in the back, it just cruises along. So we're just coming off the motorway now, and we've just come into the traffic lights at the end. Don't think I mentioned the 23 cubby holes this Ranger's got, including this sun glasses holder here. And also what it can do is it can turn its ears in when you're parked up. So yeah, there's a button on the dashboard here what you can press, and the wing mirrors come in so people can get past, even though this isn't as wide as a Ford Mondeo, but it is just over 5.5 meters long. But like I say, with the reversing camera and the sensors, it's dead easy to park. Considering I've been driving vans all my life, it is incredibly easy. Always reverse. If you're driving a van, always reverse into a space. It's a lot easier. So that's the drive with the Ford Ranger. Comparing it to the Berlingo is a lovely little van to drive. It's very, very nippy. It's got that lovely squeaky clutch. I love that. It's a squeaky pedal, not the squeaky clutch. But I've never fixed it because I just love it. But it is no comparison to driving this. But it's, what do you want? What do you want in your vehicle? Now, if you've got a family and you still want to work as a plumber or a gas engineer and you need to carry your wife and kids around, this is amazing. You couldn't do it in the Berlingo. But if you've got no kids, it's only you and your wife, or you're on your own, the Berlingo's perfect for being a plumber or a gas engineer. It depends on what you want, what your budget is. You know, there's transit vans you can buy with seats in the back, which gives you a higher payload, but it doesn't fall before and it doesn't go off road. There are electric vehicles out there if you want to lower your carbon footprint, because the road tax on this is the high bracket and it's not very good for the environment. You can buy Tesla electric cars and try and work out of one of them. I don't know why you'd want to do that. Or you could buy a Tesla van, because I think Tesla are bringing a pickup truck out as well, but they're like 80 grand, I think. So it all depends on your budget and how much you want to save the planet. So that's the look at driving the truck and the Berlingo. So let's get back and sum up. Now, it wouldn't be a review on a vehicle for a plumber or a gas engineer if we didn't see if we could get a full length or 3 meters of 15mm copper tube in the vehicle without cutting it. Now, with the measurements I gave you earlier on the backs of these, we might think that's going to be impossible, but let's have a go anyway. So first, let's see if we can get it in the back of the Berlingo. So if we open the back of the Berlingo, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to work out that even corner to corner, there is no way this length of tube is getting in the back of here. But the Berlingo's got a trick. All I've got to do is pass the pipe through the bulkhead, going towards the footwell in the passenger side. Then I need to go around to the front, slide the pipe into the footwell, and it's in. I can even do that with 22mm pipe. Bit stuck on anything bigger than 22 though, but it's in. So technically the Berlingo can take a full length of 15mm tube. Let's see if that can. Let's try the old Ranger then. Now, I don't work for NASA, but even I can see corner to corner that ain't going in there. But what I could do is I could strap it to my little bar there and have it hanging over with a rag on the end to show people that I've got a long load. Or I could drive with the tailgate open. I think that's legal in that, or is it illegal? Anyway, so even with the truck, I could strap copper to the bar going across there, or I could do the normal thing of buy a roof rack and a tube rack. I could even do that for the Berlingo as well. There are ways of carrying copper tube on a Ranger or a Berlingo. Just get a tube rack. And that is the end of these two parts of which is the best vehicle for newly qualified plumbers or gas engineers between the Ford Ranger and the Citroen Berlingo. So what we found out is they can both carry a European pallet or a UK pallet. They both can't get a 3 meter length of 15mm in the pack, This one does 40 miles to the gallon, and you can get 2 of these for the price of that. So which one are you going to choose? It's up to you. I couldn't choose, so I bought one of each. Anyway, if you've liked these videos, why don't you give me that thumbs up or leave a constructive comment down below. If you've not subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, then get subscribing, and don't forget to hit that notification bell because we release videos normally on a Wednesday. All I've got left to say is thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and stay safe guys.